Hello, I am Dr. Brian Chris Willis-Reese. For short, you can call me Dr. Reese. It's much easier to remember it that way. I am teaching my 11th semester as a professor of sociology, particularly Sociology 1101. I'm very excited to be teaching this class because there's so much you can be learning from this experience. First of all, there's a sociology of everything. There's a sociology of education, sociology of religion, sociology of medicine. It goes on and on and on. Let me give you an example. If I tell a group of kindergartners to stand in a line and to face the front, put your hands behind your back, put one hand over your mouth or either both hands behind your back, and you are to be quiet, there's no talking. And if you don't do exactly what I tell you to do on this wing, on this hall, I'm going to take you up to the warden, assistant principal. That's a contributor to the prison to pipeline experience. And so we have to be very careful about how we develop elementary children, particularly since we know that based on fourth grade reading scores, they determine how many prison beds they're going to need. And so to avoid that, we need to look at the construct of education and how we can better contribute to elementary education to ensure that children get the best possible experience that leads them to becoming career persons or the working class or the 1%. So that's an example of how education and sociology are merged together properly. And so you'll be doing that throughout this course, taking some really investigative looks at the way we do things in our society and in our world, particularly in families, and making some inferences based off of what you discover and see. So the purpose of this video is to show you everything you need to know about my class. That way we can avoid having to ask questions that are simple and the answers are already provided for you. If you ever ask questions about something that is included in this video, I will refer you back to this video. You can check out my ratemyprofessor.com to see what other students thought about my class to get some perspective. And they'll tell you, you can navigate my class rather easily. All you have to do is do exactly what I tell you to do. And so if you've not been listening, now is a good time to start because I'm going to take you through my class and show you what we'll be doing for the semester. Okay, so the first thing you need is the syllabus. You must have this syllabus because it tells you everything you will need for the course. And so there's no need to purchase a textbook. The textbook has already been loaded into the course. There's no need to purchase anything. If you're in my class, you're enrolled, you have everything you need as long as you have internet access. All right, so let's start looking at the syllabus. There are some things you need to read here about academic honesty. I have almost zero tolerance for plagiarism, so make sure you read over the expectations. No makeups will be allowed for quizzes, so if you miss them, you missed them. Basically, I've opened up your syllabus so that you can see what assignments you have for the semester. And so I encourage you when you have time to work ahead, but do not work behind because I do not accept late work. And sorry for the noise in the background, but I have two poodles who are quite vindictive and they've chosen right now to make the most noise they could possibly make. All right, so you will have review exercises and they will only occur every 4 chapters. So let's go back to the quizzes. Quizzes will be odd exempted. So that means you'll only do the even quizzes. So let's say there are 20 chapters. You would do chapter 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Those will be your quizzes. Your review exercises will be every 4. So you'll do chapter 4, chapter 8, chapter 12, chapter 16, chapter 20. All right, so that's easy to keep up with. Should you be doing the quiz from chapter 7? No, it's not an even number. Should you be doing the review exercise from chapter 2? No, it's every 4. 4, 8, 12, 16. All right, so that's pretty easy to follow. And then you just have to worry about your discussion posts. There are 2 exams in the course. There's the SLO midterm, and then there's the final exam. Neither one of them are proctored, and I'll tell you why. Because in previous semesters, we've had issues with COVID precautions, and so they want students to take these exams at different times. So I've chosen Chapter 18, which will be inclusive of some parts of Chapter 19 as well, to be your proctored activity. And so you'll be taking it at the midpoint of the semester, but that is what will be proctored. Chapter 18, 19 not not the midterm that is out there. So you'll still take the midterm, it will still count, but it will not be your proctored activity. All right, so let's continue. Let's talk a little bit about your assignments and what they look like and what my expectations are. First of all, discussion posts. I used to require people to do 3 to 5 paragraphs of a discussion post, but now I'm looking for a good 2 paragraphs that are filled with information that is meaningful, right? And if you don't write well, that means you need to write more just to make sure you answer the response to the question or the lesson prompt that's there. I really like for students to use citations. So to look at other articles and support your claims with evidence, if you can include one, that will help you gain points in the discussion post. However, if you do not have any cited references in APA format, do not expect to get 100 points for that post, regardless of how good it is. Also, I think it is imperative that you spend some time replying to other individuals to make sure you're reading each other's responses. I used to require 2 to 3 responses. I'm only requiring 1 this semester. You do your post, 2 paragraphs max, 1 citation, and 1 reply. So I think that's manageable. It's easy to do. You can follow that. All right. So let's look at our syllabus. So this week, which is week 1, I will not refer to specific dates in that I hope to use this video for the next 5 or 6 semesters. But in week 1, we're doing the course agreement. You're watching this video. You're going to read chapter 1 and 2, which is lesson 1. And then you're going to only complete the quiz for chapter 2. Why aren't we doing the quiz for chapter 1? Because it's not an even number. All right. And all of my assignments are due on Saturday by 11:59 p.m. Now, I do not put a 0 in immediately at that time, right? I understand you have a life, you have things going on. So what I have as a rule is you have until I put the 0 in. So typically the safest way to think of is maybe 2 days after it's due that I won't be putting the 0 in. There are times where it'll be an entire week, but that's left to chance. And you never know when I'm going to sit down and put grades in throughout the week. But just know that no more than 5 days away, there will be a grade there. And once the 0 is there, it is permanent. There's no need to even try to do the assignment. It's permanent once the 0 is there. But if you don't finish it Saturday night and you really need to get to Sunday, that's not a problem because I'm definitely not going to touch it on Sunday. And I'm definitely not going to touch it on Monday. So that at least gives you to about Tuesday to get it done. All right. Let's take a look at a normal week. So week 2. We're going to be reading lesson 2, chapter 3 and 4, completing the quiz from chapter 4, complete lesson 2 discussion post, which will be your first discussion post, complete chapter 4 review exercise because we're doing 4, 8, 12, 16, etc. And all of that is due by Saturday at 11:59. And on the review exercises, you get 3 attempts to pass. So you should take all 3 if you didn't pass it, but nothing beyond the 3. Okay, let's look at a week that doesn't flow the same. Week 4. So that's a week that I decided you're not going to do a discussion post. So you'll be doing reading in lesson 4, which is chapter 7 and 8. You're going to complete the quiz from 8. There's no discussion post. And then you're going to complete the review exercise, 3 attempts to pass, for chapter 8. And that's due by Saturday, 11:59 p.m. That's simple. So if you notice, your midterm is week 7. However, I open it up and tell you that I'm going to be providing you the password in week 5. So you have 2 weeks to do it. So there's no excuse when I put those zeros in as to why you won't be keeping them, because I'm going to give you time to do work. Let's talk a little bit about your extra credit assignment, which will happen toward the end of the course. So you'll be creating a YouTube or video presentation extending about 5 to 7 minutes, talking about a concept in sociology. The same way I described education pipeline to prison in the beginning of this video is the same way you'll be talking. You are going to answer these questions, but you're going to be very informal and have some fun with the discussion. If you do well on it, you get 20 points to be added to any quiz or assignment grade that's less than 80%, 80% or below. All right. Spring break is in the spring. That's typically around the same time as Thanksgiving break during the fall. And then we don't technically have those kinds of breaks during the summer. So just want to mention that. Your final exam will be open for 2 weeks. It is not proctored as well because of, like I said, COVID precautions. We're doing chapter 18, part of 19 as your proctored activity. And so you'll be able to follow that. Let's show you how you're going to do well in this class. So the same information that's here in the syllabus is on the announcements tab. And every week I have it programmed, as you can see that's coming out in week 12. That's week 9's announcement. I have them already pre-scheduled. Remember I told you the um, midterm will be coming out week 5 is already ready. See, so I have my stuff together. I'm ready for you. So that means every week you'll need to read my announcement that's going to come out on Sunday at 6 a.m. And you'll have time to read it, but that'll tell you what's due by the following Saturday at 11:59. You can keep up with it that way, or if you want to work ahead, you can look at the syllabus and start getting ahead. That's fine. Okay, I won't punish you for working ahead. All right. So I told you about my expectations for the discussion post. I told you what we'll be doing for review exercises. I've told you of what you need to know about the quizzes. And I've given you insight as to what, oh, let me tell you more about the midterm. There are 20 questions. It'll be 60 minutes. It will be everything that is weeks 1 through 7. Remember, on weeks that you do not take quizzes, like for instance, the odd numbers, you still have to read them. So they're game for the midterm. I don't do that to you on the final. I do 40 questions, and they're only from the even chapters. Okay? So you know that now. All right. Extra credit is extra credit, so you don't have to do it, but you want to do it, it's good for you. When you email me on the messages tab here in Blackboard. Do not use my school email. I want to make sure that I reply to you from the class that you're in, so I'm not confused about what your question is. So make sure you email me on the messages tab. I don't trip. So please do not send me anxious emails. Wait till you have calmed down your anxiety, then email me. I want you to be very clear and objective about what you need to know and what you want, and make sure you've actually read, because again, if it's something that I refer to in this video, I'm going to refer you back to this video. But for the most part, email me with your questions. I don't mind responding to students. Also, let's talk a little bit about excuses, because I know we're going into this COVID season, part 2. If you are out because of COVID and you are hospitalized, I do understand that. Send over that excuse. I will excuse you for the days that the doctor outlines in your letter. However, if you are fully functional, no visible signs of sickness, and you're able to do your classwork, do your classwork, because there's only flexibility offered for those who have medical excuses. Other than that, you have time to catch up. I will tell you often when I'm about to put zeros in if they don't look completely filled out. So I work with you. You just now have to work with me. I want this to be a very positive experience for you. If you go to Rate My Professor again, you can look at what other people's perspectives of my courses are, but it won't be harmful at all. This is a great experience. I typically have a lot of students pass my class with an A or B, and that's because they've learned to follow directions properly. So I have excluded the paper that I used to use, and I have excluded some of the activities that I used to require. So it's pretty straight to the point. If you follow the syllabus, you should be fine. Look at the announcements tab weekly, because it will tell you what you need to know. And again, I am so looking forward to teaching you, and I hope you have a great semester.